The abduction, Earth's first contact, and the disappearance. The night sky over New Mexico shimmered with an otherworldly glow, casting eerie shadows across the desert landscape. Dr. Elena Reyes squinted through her telescope, her heart racing as she tracked the unusual light formation. After years of searching the stars for signs of extraterrestrial life, she couldn't shake the feeling that tonight was different. "Are you seeing this, Jack?" Elena called out to her research assistant, her voice trembling with excitement. Jack hurried over, his eyes widening as he peered through the telescope. "Holy shit," he whispered. "That's no meteor shower." The lights in the sky suddenly coalesced into a massive, disc-shaped object. It hovered silently for a moment before descending rapidly towards the Earth. Elena fumbled for her phone, desperate to document the incredible sight. "We need to alert the authorities," she said, her fingers flying over the keypad. This could be first contact. Before she could hit send, a blinding flash of light engulfed the observatory. Elena felt a strange tingling sensation wash over her body, and then everything went dark. When Elena regained consciousness, she found herself lying on the cold metal floor of a dimly lit chamber. Panic gripped her as she realized she was no longer in the observatory. She sat up slowly, her head throbbing, and took in her surroundings. The room was unlike anything she had ever seen. Smooth, curved walls pulsed with a faint blue light, and strange symbols flickered across what appeared to be control panels. With a jolt of fear, Elena realized she was inside the alien craft. "Jack," she called out weakly, hoping her assistant had somehow been taken with her. But only silence answered. A low hum filled the air, and a section of the wall slid open. Elena scrambled backward as a tall, slender figure entered the room. Its skin was a pale, iridescent blue, and its large, almond-shaped eyes regarded her with an unsettling intelligence. The alien raised a hand, revealing long, delicate fingers. It made a series of clicking sounds that Elena couldn't understand. Trembling, she spoke. "Who are you? Why have you taken me?" The alien tilted its head, studying her intently. Then, to Elena's shock, it responded in perfect English. "We are the Zarkari. You are here because your species has finally reached a level of advancement that warrants our attention." Elena's scientific curiosity momentarily overrode her fear. "You've been watching us. For how long?" "Centuries," the alien replied. "We have observed your progress, waiting for the right moment to make contact. That moment has arrived." "But why take me?" Elena asked, her voice growing stronger. "Why not approach our governments openly?" The Zarkari's expression remained impassive. "Open contact would be premature. We require more information about your species before proceeding. You will help us acquire that information." A chill ran down Elena's spine. "And if I refuse?" The alien's eyes narrowed slightly. "Refusal is not an option, Dr. Reyes. Your cooperation is essential for the betterment of both our species." Before Elena could respond, another alien entered the chamber. It communicated with the first in a series of rapid clicks and whistles. The first alien turned back to Elena, its demeanor suddenly more urgent. "It seems your disappearance has not gone unnoticed. Your military forces are mobilizing. This complicates matters." Elena felt a glimmer of hope. "Then let me go. I can explain to them that you mean no harm." The Zarkari shook its head. "No, your presence here is vital to our mission. We must accelerate our plans." With lightning speed, the alien produced a small device and pressed it against Elena's neck. She felt a sharp pain, and then a strange warmth spread through her body. "What did you do to me?" she gasped, her vision beginning to blur. "A necessary precaution," the Zarkari replied. "Rest now, Dr. Reyes. Your true work begins soon." As Elena slipped into unconsciousness, she caught a glimpse of the Earth through a window in the chamber. It looked so small, so fragile from this vantage point. Her last conscious thought was a desperate hope that someone, somehow, would find her. Back on Earth, the disappearance of Dr. Elena Reyes sparked a global frenzy. The footage from the observatory, cut short by the blinding flash, showed clear evidence of an alien craft. Governments around the world scrambled to respond, their long-held protocols for first contact thrown into chaos by the abduction of one of their own. Colonel Sarah Chen of the newly formed Global Defense Initiative stared at the grainy video for the 100th time, her jaw clenched in determination. "We're going to find her," she muttered to herself, "and God help these aliens if they've harmed her." As news of the abduction spread, humanity faced a stark new reality. They were not alone in the universe, and their first encounter with alien life had been one of aggression. Fear and anger swept across the globe, but with it came a steely resolve. In the days that followed, world leaders convened in an emergency summit. Old rivalries were set aside as nations united against this common threat. A decision was made. Humanity would not sit idly by while one of their own was taken. They would prepare, they would search, and when the time came, they would fight back. Little did they know, the abduction of Dr. Elena Reyes was just the beginning. As Earth geared up for a conflict unlike any in its history, the Zarkari continued their inscrutable mission. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, Elena Reyes dreamed of home, unaware of the crucial role she would play in the coming storm. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity. As both sides prepared for the battles ahead, one question loomed large. In this war of worlds, who would emerge victorious? And at what cost? The discovery, uncovering the alien threat. 6 months after Dr. Elena Reyes' abduction, Earth was a changed planet. The initial shock of first contact had given way to a grim determination as humanity united in its quest to find their missing scientist and uncover the true intentions of the Zarkari. Colonel Sarah Chen stood before a panel of world leaders, her face etched with exhaustion, but her eyes burning with intensity. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've made a breakthrough," she announced, activating a holographic display. The room fell silent as a 3D model of the solar system appeared, with a pulsing red dot just beyond Mars' orbit. "We've detected an anomaly," Sarah continued. "Our deep space telescopes have picked up intermittent energy signatures consistent with the craft that took Dr. Reyes. We believe this is the location of a Zarkari outpost." President Amelia Rodriguez of the United Earth Alliance leaned forward. "What are you proposing, Colonel?" Sarah's gaze swept the room. "A covert mission. We've been developing stealth technology based on what little we know of the Zarkari. I believe we can send a small team to infiltrate the outpost, gather intelligence, and potentially rescue Dr. Reyes." Murmurs of approval and concern rippled through the assembly. Admiral Yuki Tanaka of the Global Space Fleet raised a hand. "The risks are enormous. If we're detected, it could provoke an all-out war." "With all due respect, Admiral," Sarah countered, "we're already at war. The Zarkari fired the first shot when they took one of our own. It's time we fired back." After hours of heated debate, the mission was greenlit. Operation Shadowfall was born. Meanwhile, light years away, Dr. Elena Reyes was fighting a battle of her own. The Zarkari had subjected her to months of tests and interrogations, probing the limits of human physiology and psychology. But Elena was more than just a test subject. She was a scientist, and she had been conducting her own covert study of her captors. In her cell, Elena scribbled furiously in a makeshift journal fashioned from alien materials. She had learned that the Zarkari were not the benevolent observers they claimed to be. Their interest in humanity was far more sinister. "They're afraid of us," Elena muttered to herself as she wrote. "Our potential scares them. They're not here to help us evolve. They're here to control our evolution." A noise outside her cell made Elena quickly hide her journal. The door slid open, revealing her primary captor, whom she had dubbed Blue due to his distinctive azure skin tone. "Dr. Reyes, blue-intoned, it's time for your next session." As Elena was led to the examination room, her mind raced. She had to find a way to warn Earth before it was too late. Back on Earth, the Shadowfall team made final preparations for their daring mission. The team consisted of 5 elite operatives, each chosen for their unique skills. Major David Ghost Reeves, team leader and stealth specialist. Dr. Aisha Patul, xenobiologist and linguistics expert. Sergeant Maria Cipher Lopez, hacker and communications expert. Lieutenant Jamal Limbeek, combat specialist and pilot. Dr. Alexei Volkov, physicist and weapons expert. As they boarded the experimental stealth ship christened the Wraith, Sarah addressed the team one last time. "You carry the hopes of humanity with you," she said solemnly. "Find out what the Zarkari are planning, and bring Dr. Reyes home. Godspeed." The Wraith lifted off silently, cloaked in technology that humanity hoped would render them invisible to alien sensors. As Earth receded behind them, the team steeled themselves for the challenges ahead. They were about to venture into unknown territory, facing an enemy with vastly superior technology and inscrutable motives. Little did they know, their mission would uncover secrets that would shake the foundations of human civilization and set in motion a chain of events that would determine the fate of both species. Part 3. The Preparation. Humanity's Secret Defense Program. While the Shadowfall team journeyed towards the Zarkari outpost, Earth was far from idle. The Global Defense Initiative had been working tirelessly to prepare humanity for potential conflict with a technologically superior alien force. In a sprawling underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura led a team of the world's brightest minds in a race against time. The cavernous main laboratory hummed with activity as scientists and engineers worked on projects that would have seemed like science fiction just a year ago. "Status report," Dr. Nakamura called out, his voice echoing through the facility. Dr. Fatima Al-Rashid, head of the Energy Weapons Division, stepped forward. "The plasma cannon prototype is ready for testing, sir. If it performs as expected, we'll be able to outfit our defense satellites within 3 months." Across the room, Professor Marcus Blackwood looked up from a holographic display of a sleek, armored exoskeleton. "The Titan suits are progressing well. We've managed to integrate the reverse-engineered alien alloy, increasing durability by 300% without sacrificing mobility." Dr. Nakamura nodded, a grim smile on his face. "Excellent work, both of you. But remember, we're not just creating weapons. We're creating a fighting chance for our species." As the scientists returned to their work, Dr. Nakamura retreated to his office. He activated a secure communication channel, and Colonel Sarah Chen's hologram flickered to life. "How goes the Shadowfall mission?" Nakamura asked without preamble. Sarah's expression was tense. "They've reached the outpost and have begun their infiltration. We're receiving data bursts every 12 hours, but it's risky. We can't risk more frequent communication without potentially exposing them." Nakamura leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. "And our other initiatives? Project Prometheus is on schedule," Sarah replied. "The first batch of genetically enhanced soldiers will complete their training in 2 weeks, and Operation Oracle has made significant progress in decrypting the alien language." "Good," Nakamura said. "We need every advantage we can get. The Security Council is breathing down my neck for results. They're talking about taking more aggressive actions." Sarah's hologram flickered as she leaned forward. "What kind of actions?" Nakamura hesitated. "There's been talk of weaponizing the Zarkari biotech we've managed to salvage, creating a virus that could target their physiology." "A virus?" Sarah's voice was sharp. "That's dangerously close to biological warfare, Hiroshi. We can't stoop to that level." "I agree," Nakamura said quickly. "But the fear is real, Sarah. If the Shadowfall team doesn't bring back actionable intelligence soon, I'm not sure I can hold off the Hawks much longer." As their conversation ended, Nakamura stared out at the bustling laboratory. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him. They were walking a razor's edge, pushing the boundaries of science and ethics in the name of survival. But at what cost? And would it be enough? Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, a fleet of newly constructed warships stood vigil. The pride of the global space fleet, These vessels represented humanity's first line of defense against potential alien aggression. Admiral Yuki Tanaka stood on the bridge of the flagship, the UES Defiant, overseeing combat drills. Again, she barked as the simulated Zarkari ships appeared on the tactical display. The bridge crews sprang into action, coordinating their attacks with a precision born of endless practice. As the drill concluded, Tanaka allowed herself a small nod of approval. They were getting better, faster, more cohesive. But would it be enough against an enemy with technology centuries ahead of their own? A junior officer approached, saluting crisply. "Admiral, we've just received word from Lunar Base. The mass driver is online and fully operational." Tanaka felt a surge of grim satisfaction. The mass driver was a colossal electromagnetic cannon built on the far side of the moon, capable of launching projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. It was a weapon of last resort, but its very existence brought some comfort. As humanity prepared for a war they hoped would never come, the Shadowfall team was about to make a discovery that would change everything. The fate of two species hung in the balance, and the clock was ticking. Part 4. The Infiltration. Rescuing our own and learning the truth. The Zarkari outpost loomed before the Wraith, a massive structure of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. Inside the stealth ship, the Shadowfall team made final preparations for their infiltration. Major David "Ghost" Reeves did one last check of his tactical gear. "Remember," he said to his team, "our primary objectives are to gather intel on Zarkari capabilities and intentions, and to locate and extract Dr. Reyes if possible. We go in quiet, we get what we need, and we get out. Clear?" The team nodded, their faces a mixture of determination and tightly controlled fear. This was what they had trained for, but the reality of infiltrating an alien stronghold was far more daunting than any simulation. Dr. Aisha Patel studied the outpost schematics they had pieced together from long-range scans. "There's an energy fluctuation here," she said, pointing to a section near the base of the structure. "It could be a blind spot in their sensors. That's our best bet for entry." With a silent prayer, Ghost gave the order. The Wraith glided towards the outpost, its advanced cloaking technology straining against the Zarkari sensors. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed they would be detected. Then, miraculously, they slipped through. Inside the outpost, the team moved like shadows, their suits equipped with technology reverse-engineered from scraps of Zarkari tech. They encountered their first aliens within minutes, tall, blue-skinned beings that moved with an unsettling grace. The team held their breath as the Zarkari passed within inches of their position, apparently oblivious to their presence. As they delved deeper into the facility, Sergeant Maria Cipherlopes interfaced with the alien computer systems. Her eyes widened behind her visor as streams of data flowed into her neural implant. "My God," she whispered, "the scale of their operation. It's not just Earth they're interested in. They've been manipulating the development of species across the galaxy for millennia." Dr. Alexei Volkov examined a nearby console, his face pale. "It's some kind of grand experiment in guided evolution. They're playing God on a cosmic scale." Before they could process this revelation, a familiar voice echoed down the corridor. "You don't understand. Humanity isn't ready for this knowledge. It will destroy them." Ghost's heart raced. "That's Dr. Reyes," he hissed. "Cypher, can you get a fix on her location?" Cypher's fingers flew over her holo interface. "2 levels down, heavily guarded, but I think I can create a distraction." With a few deft commands, Cypher triggered alarms throughout the facility. As Zarkari's security forces rushed to respond, the team made their move. They fought their way through the chaos, their weapons, a mix of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech, proving surprisingly effective against the Zarkari defenses. They found Dr. Rice in a laboratory, strapped to a chair as a Zarkari scientist loomed over her. Ghost didn't hesitate. His plasma rifle whined, and the alien crumpled to the floor. Elena's eyes widened in shock as the team materialized before her. You came for me." She gasped as Aisha worked to free her from her restraints. "We don't leave our people behind, Doc," Ghost said, his voice gruff with emotion. "Now let's get you home." But Elena pulled away. "Wait, we can't leave yet. There's something you need to see." She hurried to a nearby console, her fingers flying over the alien controls. "The Zarkari, they're not what we think they are. They're running from something terrible. And they believe humanity might be the key to stopping it." A holographic display flickered to life, showing a vast, dark shape moving between the stars. It defied description, a living void that consumed everything in its path. The team stared in horror as entire solar systems winked out of existence before the monstrosity. "They call it the Devourer," Elena explained, her voice shaking. "It's destroyed countless civilizations. The Zarkari have been uplifting species, guiding their evolution, trying to create a race capable of standing against it. They believe humanity has the potential to be that race." The implications were staggering. The team exchanged looks of shock and disbelief. Their mission had just become far more complicated than a simple rescue operation. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. "Our window's closing," Ghost barked. "We need to move now." As they fought their way back to the Wraith, Elena downloaded as much data as she could onto a portable drive. The team narrowly escaped, the outpost's defenses coming to life behind them as they fled into the darkness of space. As the Wraith hurtled back towards Earth, the team grappled with the weight of what they had discovered. They had set out to uncover the Zarkari's plans for humanity, only to find that the fate of the entire galaxy hung in the balance. The question now was, how would humanity respond to this existential threat? Would they join the Zarkari in their desperate battle against the Devourer, or forge their own path in the face of cosmic annihilation? Part 5. The Retaliation. Humanity's Counterattack and the Galactic Consequences. The return of the Shadowfall team and Dr. Elena Rice sent shockwaves through the halls of power on Earth. As the full scope of the Zarkari's actions and the threat of the Devourer became clear, humanity found itself at a crossroads. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, world leaders and top military brass gathered to determine the fate of their species. The debate raged for days, with factions forming around two primary strategies. One group, led by Admiral Tanaka, advocated for an aggressive stance. "The Zarkari abducted our people, experimented on us without consent," she argued fiercely. "We cannot trust them, no matter how dire the threat they claim to be facing. We must strike now, while we have the element of surprise, and take control of our own destiny." On the other side, Dr. Nakamura pleaded for cooperation. "The Devourer is a threat beyond our comprehension," he said, his voice strained. "We need the Zarkari's knowledge and technology if we hope to survive. We must negotiate, form an alliance." As the debate reached a fever pitch, it was Dr. Elena Reyes who finally broke the deadlock. Still bearing the physical and emotional scars of her captivity, she addressed the assembly. "Both sides are right," she said, her voice quiet but firm. "The Zarkari have committed unforgivable acts against us, and we cannot blindly trust them. But the threat they warn me about is very real. I've seen the data, the destruction left in the Devourer's wake. We need the Zarkari's knowledge, but we must approach this on our own terms." Her words sparked a new idea, a bold, dangerous plan that would come to be known as Operation Trojan Horse. Months of frantic preparation followed. Earth's finest minds worked alongside the rescued Dr. Reyes to integrate Zarkari technology with human innovation. The result was a fleet of ships unlike anything either species had created before, a perfect fusion of two civilizations' greatest achievements. As the fleet assembled in orbit, humanity sent a message to the Zarkari outpost. It was part olive branch, part ultimatum. An offer to join forces against the Devourer, but on equal terms. The Zarkari would share all their knowledge and technology and submit to oversight to ensure no further unauthorized experiments on humans. The Zarkari, faced with humanity's unexpectedly rapid technological leap and the looming threat of the Devourer, reluctantly agreed. What followed was the greatest migration in human history. Millions volunteered to crew the new fleet and establish colonies on distant worlds, creating fallback positions in case Earth fell to the Devourer. The joint human Zarkari fleet set out to face the cosmic horror, with Dr. Elena Reyes and the surviving Shadowfall team members at its heart. They had become living bridges between the two species, their shared experiences forging bonds of trust where none had existed before. As they journeyed into the depths of space, humanity underwent a transformation. The knowledge shared by the Zarkari, combined with humanity's unique insights and innovative spirit, led to advancements that would have once seemed like magic. Faster than. As they journeyed into the depths of space, humanity underwent a transformation. The knowledge shared by the Zarkari, combined with humanity's unique insights and innovative spirit, led to advancements that would have once seemed like magic. Faster than light travel, energy shields that could withstand the fury of exploding stars, and weapons capable of reshaping reality itself, all became part of humanity's arsenal. But with great power came great responsibility. The alliance between humans and Zarkari was fraught with tension, old wounds still raw. It fell to those who had been on the front lines of first contact, Dr. Elena Reyes, Colonel Sarah Chen, and the Shadowfall team, to forge a path forward. As they approached the region of space where the Devourer had last been sighted, the fleet picked up a distress signal from a nearby system. What they found there would change the course of the war. A civilization on the brink of annihilation fought desperately against the Devourer's advance. The joint fleet didn't hesitate. They threw themselves into the battle, their advanced weapons tearing into the cosmic horror. For the first time in eons, the Devourer faced resistance it couldn't simply consume. The battle raged across an entire solar system, stars themselves used as weapons in a conflict that defied comprehension. In the heat of the battle, Dr. Elena Reyes made a breakthrough. Analyzing real-time data from the conflict, she realized the Devourer wasn't a single entity, but a collective consciousness, a dark mirror of the alliance humanity and the Zarkari had formed. "It's not just about firepower," she shouted over the chaos of the bridge. "We need to disrupt its unity, turn it against itself." Working feverishly, Elena and a joint team of human and Zarkari scientists reconfigured their communications array into a weapon unlike any other. It broadcast a signal that wormed its way into the Devourer's hive mind, sowing discord and confusion. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Devourer's unified assault faltered, parts of it turning against each other in a frenzy of cosmic cannibalism. Seizing the advantage, the Allied fleet pressed their attack. Antimatter warheads and gravitational lances tore through the weakened Devourer. Reality itself seemed to warp and buckle under the fury of the assault. After what seemed like an eternity, it was over. The Devourer, the terror that had stalked the galaxy for millions of years, was no more. In its place was a vista of newborn stars, the energy of the destroyed cosmic horror fueling a burst of creation. As the dust settled, humanity found itself in a position no one could have imagined mere years ago. They were no longer alone in the universe, no longer the newcomers to a galactic stage. They had proven themselves equal to the oldest and most advanced civilizations, their unique blend of innovation, determination, and adaptability tipping the scales in a battle for the fate of all life. The victory came at a heavy cost. Millions had died in the final battle, and countless more in the long war that led to it. The scars left by the conflict, both physical and psychological, would take generations to heal. But as the Allied fleet began the long journey home, there was a sense of hope that hadn't existed before. Humanity and the Zarkari, once enemies, now stood as partners in a new galactic order. Other races, freed from the shadow of the Devourer, reached out to join this fledgling alliance. On the bridge of the flagship, Dr. Elena Reyes stood with Colonel Sarah Chen and the remaining members of the Shadowfall team. They watched as the view screen showed the vast expanse of the universe stretching out before them, filled with possibilities. "So," Ghost said, breaking the contemplative silence, "what do we do now?" Elena smiled, her eyes bright with the promise of the future. Now we explore. We learn. We grow. The universe is vast, and we've only just begun to understand our place in it." Sarah nodded, her posture relaxing for the first time in years. "We went to the stars looking for a fight," she mused. "Instead, we found a future." As the ship engaged its faster-than-light drive, humanity took its first true steps into a larger universe. The road ahead would not be easy. There would be new challenges, new threats, and difficult decisions to make. But they would face them together, not just as a species, but as part of a galactic community. The abduction of one of their own had sparked a chain of events that led humanity to the stars. In striking back with fury, they had not only saved themselves, but had become something greater. They had become the protectors of life itself, the vanguard against the darkness that threatened all of creation. As Earth grew larger in the view screen, a new chapter in human history began, one that would be written across the stars themselves.